friends who saw him around that time felt that he was really a broken man. And he lived 5.5 years, longer than I think he ever expected.
Clients don't necessarily feel that because they overdosed, they were going to die. So for most of us, not dependent on drugs, we'd say, well, that's insane. But for them, you know, when you're paying to feel good, and you've paid a lot of money to have that experience, the last thing you want is interrupted by someone who feels that it might go too far. So, you know, I think that's one way that overdoses end up being quite non-intentional.
On April 5th, 2002, Layne's battle with addiction ended when he overdosed with a mixture of heroin and cocaine, commonly known as a speedball.
Probably everyone sitting in the audience, you know, they made a New Year's resolution this last year and they're not doing it anymore. We're talking about people that come into treatment that need to change their whole group of friends they're dealing with. They need to redevelop relationships with their family. They probably have a very estranged relationship with their partner or spouse, or that person may also be a user. They likely are doing poorly a job. Their health is problematic, and they may or may not have anywhere to live. I mean, most of us with one of those issues would have a very hard time being successful. You know, we're looking anywhere from 25 to 30% of the clients that go through treatment are successful, and that's a huge number.
I'm sure that long-term improvement that they would have had to go away someplace. He might be alive today.
Heroin addicts can be anybody. It can be the lawyer across the street. It can be the doctor in the doctor's office. It can be the basketball player that you watch on TV.
I believe that his soul was reaching out for some form of healing.
Why should I support this group of people who seemingly have become addicted and are now unable to take care of themselves and maybe pay for treatment? I think the answer to that, from my vantage point, is that these are people, again, much like you and I, and our family and community and that, who have come upon very hard times. And I think it's always very important to remember with addiction that nobody ever intends to become addicted. You don't see it coming, you don't see how bad it's getting. So by the time somebody's ready to come into treatment, it's very painful and very hard for them to see how far along their lives have gone into drug culture. They're not people that are going to be able to go out and support themselves, nor should they. They're people that need to take some time, be introspective, take a look at the damage and waste behind them, and figure out how to go about repairing their lives. And they, like any of us, deserve a chance. And as we've talked about 30% will get well. And I think those are huge odds.
I think ultimately Layne's gift was the soul that he shared in his music and voice.
I think he just bumped a ride.
And I hear letters and emails and phone calls on an almost daily basis from young people who told me the incredible impact that his message had on their lives. These are gifts that young people have shared with me and almost convinced me of this awesome and really nice person. They're going to see to it that I understand what an incredibly wonderful man he was and how much he changed lives, and that he will probably continue to through his message.
So technically I missed another band, huh? Supposed to be 3 of them, right?